Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. For those that don't know me, I am Andrea Stolz. I'm the Executive Director of LIFT, and I have been for the past 13 months. Before we listen to our speakers this morning, I'd like to provide some context for this event for the people who may be attending our breakfast or meeting me for the first time. LIFT stands for Long Island Families Together. It is a not-for-profit tasked with supporting families raising children with social, emotional, and behavioral challenges through outreach, referrals, and education. And is also tasked with ensuring that the voices of families are heard by policymakers. This is our 18th annual legislative breakfast. These breakfasts are an opportunity for individuals throughout the children's behavioral health system to come together, enhancing cross-system communication and relationships. In addition to the many engaged parents and caregivers in attendance today, we have individuals from agencies across Long Island in attendance, including Well Life, Family Service League, Parent to Parent OPWDD, Blue Cross Blue Shield Child Health Plus, Family and Children's of Long Island, SCO, North Shore Family and Guidance, Families Together in New York State, my friend Zach over there, Free, Lodestar, MHAW, Long Island Advocacy Center, Citizens Action New York, as well as many others. We're also fortunate to have a number of legislators or their representatives attending today, including offices that have said that they'll be attending include Suffolk County Legislator Von Tempe, a member of Senator White's office. Senator Boyle said that he would be here in a little while. Assemblywoman Giglio, Suffolk County Legislator Donnelly, the office of Senator Matera, Suffolk County Legislator Richburg, Senator Thomas, Assemblyman McCoolin, and Assemblywoman Jean-Pierre also said she would be here. So part of LIFT's enduring reputation lies in our ability to bring all of these diverse voices together in the same room. I look forward to working with all of you to carry on that tradition. So next I'd like to share a few of our accomplishments this last year. In the last year, LIFT has had its first virtual breakfast, which we had this time last year, about a month after I came on. And for the first time, it featured a parent panel instead of a single speaker. That panel was the genesis of our Legislative Action Committee, a group of 6 parents who met monthly through the last academic year in order to define issues specific to Long Island families raising children with social, emotional, and behavioral diagnoses. 2 of these parents and their families were actually featured in ProPublica stories. One was titled, New York State Failed to Provide Legally Required Mental Health Care to Kids, a Lawsuit Claims. The second was titled, Governor Cuomo set out to transform mental health care for kids, but now they can't get treatment. LIFT also held a regional community speak out at Hands Across Long Island as part of the Healthy Minds, Healthy Kids statewide campaign. This speak out brought together 30 parents last month and youth just on Long Island. There were 200 registrants overall to explore the question, what do our children need to thrive? We also shared some of our challenges with finding support for our children and learned some advocacy strategies. This event was covered in local media by Newsday and News 12 and featured the lived experience of one of today's speakers, our closing speaker, Karen Butler. LIFT successfully also applied for an ARPA grant from Nassau County. This grant will be used to continue to update our website and to do outreach to Nassau County communities. LIFT has already updated its website to include supports for families raising LGBT children because we see evidence-based research every day that shows that LGBT youth consider suicidality and self-harm at much greater rates than their peers. And the simple act of affirming our LGBT children for who they are actually greatly reduces their inclination towards suicidality and self-harm. LIFT has supported a parent, Tamara Bagel, who you will also hear from this morning. who wished to provide testimony to New York State Attorney General Letitia James about the flaws in New York State's behavioral health delivery system. I personally worked with her to help craft her written and oral statements, which are now a part of the public record for New York State on a hearing on mental health accessibility. LIFT also helped lead a virtual 12-week parenting class for parents raising children with mental health diagnoses, along with peer advocates at Sagamore Children's Hospital and Family Service League's Parent to Parent program. So, LIFT is one person, it's me, and that's some of the stuff that we accomplished this year. We're very proud of it. In addition to these accomplishments, LIFT also sits on a number of committees. The Families Together New York State's Workforce Development Advisory Board, which oversees the credentialing process for the family care advocates in New York State. This is at the invitation of Families Together New York State. I also sit on the Suffolk County Workforce Development Work Group of the Mental Hygiene Committee. So we are working to address the mass exodus of workers in our mental health system that's a large contributor to the debilitating wait times for families in crisis to receive services. I sit on the Suffolk County Prevention Work Group, which is currently finalizing a presentation we plan to bring to libraries throughout Suffolk County, highlighting resources for families to act early if they're concerned about their child's mental health or possible learning disabilities or substance use. I also sit on the Nassau-Suffolk Family Support Services Coalition. This group plans an annual Children's Behavioral Health Symposium that this year will take place next month, right here in these rooms. We encourage you all to attend that as well. There should be a flyer for that event in your folders. It is a 10-workshop symposium, 5 in the morning, 5 in the afternoon, and lunch. And I will actually be co-leading a presentation at that symposium on parenting transgender and gender non-binary children. And then I also sit on the Child Advisory Committee of Empire Blue Cross Blue Shield Health Plus at the invitation of Community Liaison Marjorie Stuckel, who is here today. And then I work with the Family Bonds Work Group, which is in coordination with Well Life's community residence directors. So sometimes when people hear LIFT, they don't have context for the kinds of work we do, so I just wanted to lay it all out there for you. One criticism that's often leveled at the New York State children's system of care is that too often we work in silos. Because of its hard-earned reputation and long-standing relationships, LIFT is the exception that actively works across agencies. This isn't something I can take complete credit for. The groundwork was laid by all of LIFT's previous directors. But my work is to continue building on that. In the next year, my goals include further updating our website so that it's accessible to Spanish speakers and fully aligns with the principles of universal design and accessibility. Since LIFT has such a small staff, it is important that our website be maximized in order to meet our mission of being a resource for every parent on Long Island. I would also like to reiterate what Lori said previously. We would love to see our board membership increase and create subcommittees for fundraising and for event planning. Next year, I hope to stand on this podium with a cohort behind me that can all claim to have helped create the day. If this is something that interests you, we will begin meeting next May to identify a theme and speakers for next fall's breakfast. And as Lori said, I encourage you to speak to me or to any of the other board of directors that are here if you want to find out more about what that responsibility entails. An application is in your folders. We also want to work to continue to align the work of our Legislative Action Committee so that it supports the initiatives of the Healthy Minds, Healthy Kids State Stakeholder Council. That council is an amalgam of 6 different children's behavioral health organizations in New York State, and the idea is that we will be able to collect the voices and experiences of all families in New York State that are raising children with social, emotional, behavioral diagnoses, and bring that collective voice to decision makers so that we can improve the system. I also plan on visiting more parent support groups so that I can hear your concerns and get to know more of you better. Please reach out to me, call me, email me. I'm supposed to be a resource for all of you. But in return, don't be surprised if I encourage you to reach out to your elected officials to improve communication between them so that they are aware of your experiences. So now that you have some context of LIFT and what we do, I'd like to begin the presentation portion of our event. And I'd like to introduce Tamara Bagel. She will share a little more about her